Dmitry Medvedev has fired back at Brussels with characteristic defiance, weaponizing a proposed European Union visa restriction into a blunt, psychological counter-offensive. Responding to initiatives spearheaded by EU Foreign Policy Chief Kallas, targeting participants of Russia's special military operation, Medvedev dismissed the measure as a toothless gesture, mocking it with traditional Russian idiom and telling the bloc to fast-track its own isolation policies.
A certain Kaja and her comrades announced that the European Union is close to imposing a lifetime ban on special military operation participants from entering the EU. Well, that is like trying to scare a hedgehog with a bare backside.
From Moscow's perspective, Medvedev's framing deliberately turns the EU's strategy on its head. Rather than viewing travel restrictions as punitive pressure, official Russian messaging frames the move as a long-overdue purge of pro-Western illusions among the citizenry. The state stance positions Brussels' exclusionary policies as an effective catalyst for domestic unity, severing cultural tethers and aligning public sentiment firmly behind the Kremlin.
We should urge the European Union to do this as soon as possible. In that case, millions of our citizens will lose all their foolish illusions about wonderful Europe for decades and fiercely hate everything European.
The rhetoric reaches its sharpest and most uncompromising edge as Moscow formally codifies an adversarial worldview toward the West. As European policy discussions weigh permanent entry bans for individuals linked to the conflict to address bloc security, the Russian political establishment is actively leaning into the rupture, utilizing the regulatory barrier to permanently cement an ideological line in the sand.
But that is precisely what we need. Europe is our cruel enemy forever.
Behind the public political posturing, the visa restrictions remain part of a broader, highly contentious sanctions framework actively debated across European capitals. While hawkish member states argue that restricting travel targets the security apparatus and raises the cost of the conflict, ongoing legal and structural divisions within the bloc highlight deep internal friction over how far economic and travel isolation should go. Ultimately, this diplomatic clash underscores a fundamental transformation in Russia-Europe relations, where administrative visa policy has transformed into a high-stakes narrative battleground. By aggressively reframing restrictive measures as badges of honor and permanent geopolitical separation, Moscow continues to weaponize Western policy proposals to solidify its domestic defensive posture.